Bonsai! I'm the Cobra Kai kid, and one of my favorite scenes in Cobra Kai Season 3 was when young Kreese and Captain Turner fought over the pit of cobras in the Season 3 finale. Not only was the scene so epic, but the music was amazing, the fight choreography was amazing, but the acting was also incredible by young Kreese actor Barrett Carnahan and Captain Turner actor Terry Serpico. Now, I thought it was really cool how they had Captain Turner and young Kreese fight over a pit of cobras, because that's the explanation for why Kreese named his dojo Cobra Kai when he opened up the karate dojo for the first time. But there's also another really cool reference that John, Josh, and Hayden, the creators of Cobra Kai, decided to include when making this scene. Now, whether it's intentional or not, I'm not sure of that. I hope one day we'll find out if this was their intention or not, but the fact of the matter is that that final scene with young Kreese and Captain Turner fighting over the pit of cobras was definitely a page out of the book of Indiana Jones. Now, if you don't know who Indiana Jones is the main character in the franchise of films Indiana Jones. He's a part-time teacher and archaeologist who yearns for adventure and goes on these adventures for holy treasures. Now, if you're a fan of Indiana Jones and you've watched the movies, you'll know that he has the biggest fear of snakes. And there's a bunch of scenes where he comes face to face with snakes and is absolutely terrified.
There's a big snake in the plane, Doc! Oh, that's just my pet snake, Reggie! I hate snakes, Doc! I hate them!
This is just like Cobra Kai Season 3 when young Kreese comes face to face with the snake pit. He's terrified of all those snakes and what will happen if he ends up with them, same as Indiana Jones. So I think when the writers were creating the final battle between Captain Turner and young Kreese, they definitely had that in mind. Even though having all those cobras there wasn't for nothing, it was to explain why Kreese opened up Cobra Kai and why he named it that after all the cobras that he faced when he was a kid fighting in the war. The writers must have known what they were doing. They must have known as they were writing the script and writing young Kreese fights over a pit of cobras that it did have that Indiana Jones style, as the big thing with Indiana Jones is that he's afraid of snakes. And keep in mind, Karate Kid is a film from the 80s, and so was Indiana Jones. So I'm sure the writers have watched the Indiana Jones movies as well and have took inspiration from that when making the final fight. I've been a huge Indiana Jones fan ever since I was a little kid, so when I saw this for the first time and had those Indiana Jones vibes, it was really epic, especially since we hadn't gotten an Indiana Jones movie in a while. I felt like I was watching Indiana Jones in Cobra Kai. It felt like young Kreese was Indiana Jones, and funny enough, Barrett Carnahan, the actor of young Kreese, is a huge Indiana Jones fan, and when I interviewed him on my channel to talk about Cobra Kai Season 3, we also talked about Indiana Jones, and here's what he had to say.
When I, started developing a personality as a kid, I got obsessed with Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I know that you're a huge Indiana Jones fan, so I know you'd appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
So it started with watching Indiana Jones just over and over and over again. And back then, when I was like 4 years old, you're young enough, I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I was young enough to think that what was going on my TV was actually happening. So I thought Indiana Jones was an actual person. And then one day I popped in this Star Wars VHS. And here comes this guy from Han Solo, not the Millennium Falcon. And I'm like, Mom, why does Han Solo look so much like Indiana Jones? And she was like, well, it's the same guy, sweetie. He's an actor. Blew my mind. So that changed everything. And I was like, well, whatever that guy does, I want to do. So yeah, from then on, I started doing like community theater and stuff when I was about 9 years old. And I got hooked, man. I couldn't stop. From the time when I was like 9 years old to the time when I eventually moved out to California when I was 19, I was just doing play after play after play, musical after musical after musical. And yeah, moved out to California when I was 19. And from then, that's a long story, and it's been a long road, but it takes a lot of perseverance and a lot of patience. But yeah, so it's all thanks to Mr. Ford that I wanted to become an actor. So
yeah, he's my favorite actor. So yeah, so
we have in common. Also, Raiders. Fun fact is Martin Kove's favorite action film.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that when we were talking about like favorite movies and stuff, and he said that, I was like, oh, that's great that we have something in common. Yeah, I love The Mandalorian, and I'm so excited for the future of Star Wars.
Yeah.
So excited for the future of Indiana Jones too.
We'll see what happens. And the game, and the game, right? You heard about
I just posted about that the other day. The fact that they're coming out with an Indiana Jones 5. Have you ever played the Indiana Jones game, Emperor's Tomb?
I played Staff of Kings.
Yeah, that was on the Wii or something.
Yeah, I played on the Wii.
Yeah.
Emperor with the Lego
out on like PS2 and Xbox.
Yeah.
And it was this awesome game. If you're an Xbox guy, it's on the Xbox store. It's like $10 or something like that. Amazing.
Is it Xbox One?
Yeah, it's on the store, so you can play. I believe so. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But yeah, no, it's an incredible game. So the fact that we're getting another Indiana Jones game is going to be awesome. An Indiana Jones movie with like potential spin-offs that they're talking about. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to be a fan, for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad that they said, I don't know if you heard, but they confirmed there won't be any more, like they're not going to continue like Indiana Jones 6 after, like.
No, Harrison needs to wrap it up.
Yeah.
It needs to be Harrison. Yeah.
Exactly.
So I thought that we couldn't top the first fight at the diner.
Yeah.
But then everybody watching, I'm sure, has seen 310. But once we got to the last fight in 310, I read the script and I'm like, holy cow. Like, it blew my mind. I was like, the parallels to Indiana Jones here are insane. So much so to the fact that there was a moment where the camera was behind me and tracking me to where I was going. And you're gonna love this. The parallel to Indiana Jones was so amazing and so like thick that there was a moment walking up that the camera kind of pushed in on my hand, and I twitched my hand the exact same way that Harrison Ford twitched his hand before he went up and switched the bag with the golden idol. Switched the golden idol with the bag. So that was pretty cool. But that fight, man, we had so much fun. That was a very, very cold night. It was raining like on and off, and getting to work with TORY was amazing because we both just gave it everything we had. And we were just loving it. And TORY started out as a stuntman, so he's been doing this kind of stuff like for majority of his career. So it was a huge honor to do something like that with him. It was a blast.
And you were working with the snakes in that scene. A lot of people were in the chat were asking about that. Do you want to talk about, because there was I see a lot of comments that it's CG. I thought it was CG.
Without spoiling anything, the reptiles were real, and there were over 100 of them, and they were brought in like these big tubs. And they were just like one after another. Like there was like, as soon as we were thinking that there was like that was it, they just kept coming. They just kept pouring them in to the point where they were starting to like crawl out. And they would have to like, oh, Wranglers. And we would have to like go in and like put them back. I don't know why I said me. I wasn't touching this. I played with a little boa. It's super cute. I like snakes. I'm not.
Oh, you like snakes?
I do. Sharks are my biggest fear. Yeah. I don't like going in the ocean. I'm not a fan of that. Sometimes I get caught up if I'm in the water, and I'll be like up to my neck, and I'll be having a good time, and then next thing I know, I'm like, how do I get out of here? And then I leave, because I just I do not like water where I can't see the bottom. Just don't.
So I want to know your thoughts about this big reference in the final fight of Cobra Kai Season 3. What did you think about the callback and the reference to Indiana Jones with the young Kreese and Captain Turner fight and the big pit of snakes? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications to never miss a new Cobra Kai Kid video. Hit that like button and share the video with your fellow Cobras and Miyagi-Dos. I'll see you all next time on Cobra Kai Kid, and until then remember, Cobra Kai never dies.